Hello, you adorable lot, and welcome to another whiskey review with me, the Whiskey Novice. Thank you for joining me for review number 250. Woo! And I suppose there may be those who be saying, well, 250? You celebrating? You doing something special? You doing something? Because it's human nature to celebrate such numbers. Well, technically no, technically yes. Technically, I mean, this is special-ish. For one reason or two. I can't remember many reasons, but some reasons. It's Glenmorangie, and I've said before that I like Glenmorangie. I think Glenmorangie are my guilty pleasure distillery. There's no reason they should be my guilty pleasure distillery. Why would you feel guilty about it? Because we have this thing as whiskey enthusiasts. I'm convinced that Glenmorangie is a bit of a beginner's whiskey, and we move on, we move up, we move away from Glenmorangie. Well, sorry, no, not me. I still love them, and I mean, they're like most distilleries where there's plenty of expressions in there. There's those for beginners. There's those higher up. So you know, there's something in there for all of us. Glenmorangie, I like. This one, the Burgundy Wood Finish. This was sort of introduced around 2002, and then discontinued around 2007. So it didn't hang around long. I picked this up in auction. I paid quite a bit of money for it. And I thought, I've overpaid for this, but I was tied into it. I thought, oh, I'll buy it now, etc., etc. And then I discovered that places were actually charging an awful lot of money for it. So I thought about it, and I sat on it. And I'm not one for selling whiskey. I don't really care. I'm not one for I'm certainly not an investor. But I sat on it for a while because I was looking at the prices it was going elsewhere. And I thought to myself, well, there is money to be made at it. And then I just thought, nah, that's not me. I'll open the bloody thing. So I opened it. And as you can see, I quite enjoy it as well. So this non-aged stated started in American oak. Ex-bourbon, I imagine. And then transferred into Côte d'Or barriques. So bottled at 43%. No mention of chill filtration on it. No mention of colour, but generally, I know as a rule of thumb, Glenmorangie tend to go natural colour. If it is natural colour, it's a beautiful colour. So what happened was they released around four expressions around that time. And two of them, this being one of them, were taken off the market. Two of them actually made it into their core range. So I can't remember which ones it was that made it into their core range, but certainly this one was taken off the market. So I was quite glad to get my hands on it. As I say, 43%. Here we go. Instant, rich, sweet wininess. It really is, and it's red. There's a red wine note hanging around this. It's one of those ones that, as you approach it, it's the wine that meets you. It's those winey notes that meet you on the way down. I absolutely love it because I love a good wine finish. And this is a good wine finish. And it draws out, because the thing is too, it draws out all the rich, sweet fruitiness of the wine cask. Of Burgundy. It's all the sweet notes of Burgundy wine cask. Hints of cherry, blackcurrant, some lovely floral notes always hanging around the peripheral. And even underneath all that, don't forget the typical sort of maltiness that Glenmorangie, in my opinion, is known for. So that nice, sweet maltiness is always hanging around underneath it all. Lovely. I genuinely really like this. I do. It's one of those ones that I could just live in the nose. It's even cola. There's even hints of cola of it. Or, not cola. Even iron brew. That's what it is. There's hints of iron brew off it, believe it or not. Oh, Scotsmen all over Scotland fighting to get their hands on this. Oh. And it's a whiskey with a nose that begs you to drink. So here we go. Sweet, sour nose as expected. Oh, baby. Oh, everything. The sweetness of this is like to say, it's not a candy floss, it's a candy sugared sweetness, but it's so nice. And it doesn't hit. So if you think of the map of the tongue, generally the front of the tongue is supposed to pick up the sweetness. So this isn't sweet notes that we know it. This is probably saltiness and sweet. So it's a bit like, there's a chewy sweet candy that we know. And I'm trying to remember what it is. But there's hints of, this is so fruity. Strawberry, raspberry. All red fruit. And all of that stuff at the back of the palate. There's blackcurrant. Oh man, there's orange. Oh, this is fantastic. It's plum. It's just those really juicy fruity notes. Sorry. Okay, we shudder there. That just, oh man, it's beautiful. I know it's maybe me overreacting a little to this. I think it's fantastic. I did pay in the scheme of things, I paid quite a bit of money for a 43% non-aged state of whiskey. I'm not going to say how much I spent. Maybe tell you later. It doesn't matter. But it's so fruity, and red fruit, darker fruit. It's certainly not citrusy. It's not. There's nothing light or airy-fairy about it. It's got body. It's got depth. Oh, and the finish. Because all of that rush of fruit comes right at the back of the palate, that just takes over. It takes its time and just very slowly hangs around. And the finish, and I said it about a whiskey. Oh, it's gone back a while, and I can't remember which. I think it was actually a bourbon. I think it was maybe the Elijah Craig. That if there was such a whiskey as a smooth whiskey, and that it doesn't burn you on the way down, which I know sounds stupid, it was it. This doesn't either. No, it doesn't. This is just all about sweetness and freshness and cleanliness and sweet fruit, rich fruit. Oh, and that chewy candy note. I'm going to say chewy. I mean the stuff, taffy, I suppose the Americans would call it, that sort of idea, where it's really, and oh man, this is great. And I mean, a drop of water, that's all. It just remains so fruity and sweet. But it's natural. That's what I love about it. It's not an unnatural sweetness. It's not a sugary, powdery, sugared sweetness. It's all fruit sweetness. I've described whiskies in the past as a fruit salad in a bowl. They don't come close to this. Why they discontinued this, I don't know. I think it's fantastic. Maybe they couldn't source the casks or whatever, and the drop of water and the strawberry really stands out in the nose. Water, drop of water. May go a little dry at the back of the palate. Wine casks maybe making it a little astringent. Not too much, but all about the fruitiness. All raspberry, strawberry, red fruit forward. So well made. This is a belter. Slap an age statement on there. Carry on bottling at 43%. Yeah, incredible. Bring it back tomorrow, I'll buy it. Love it, love it. So then, what would I suggest to you as an alternative? I do like it. I do like it a lot. I had a couple of suggestions in my head. I had a couple. There was one which was a bit out of left field, and I was going to run with it, but then I tried it, and no, it wasn't close. And I'll tell you what that was. It was the Old Cumber blend. I reviewed it some time ago. So, no, it didn't work. So what I did do then was, I didn't stray too far, because I struggled. I enjoyed this so much. I struggled to think of what it could offer to you. If you've had this at a time, and it's one of those things. So this is another one of those reviews that it's more like, if you want to know what I'm tasting, because this is off the market, and you're wondering how that's going, what is it? Well, the one that, and this always messes with my green screen, I'm going to suggest to you Glenmorangie, the Quinta Ruban, the 14-year-old. And funny, and here I go, because this is what I did, what I generally do whenever I'm looking for an alternative. And yes, similar. They are similar. The Quinta Ruban, obviously the port cask. Fruity. The Quinta Ruban fruity. Not as fruity as the Burgundy wine cask. It's close, but not as fruity as the Burgundy wine cask. Either way, I like the Quinta Ruban. I think the Quinta Ruban is one of the best port casks on the market. I genuinely do. Bottle the Burgundy Wood Finish at 14 years old, if you could, and 46%, and I think it would be better than the Quinta Ruban. I do. But that's my suggestion to you. That's my suggestion. Love this. Love it. So, review number 250. It is a bit special. It's a bit special to me because it's something that I genuinely love. And I know there are a lot of people out there who don't like wine finishes, even sherry finishes, port, etc., etc. I do. I do. Sometimes, you can tired of the sweetness. But if the sweetness, like this, as I said, is very natural and all about natural fruit, I mean, you could put this in your porridge. You genuinely could. Lovely, lovely. Thank you very much for joining me. Always a pleasure. Thank you very, very much to my patrons. Should anybody wish to join that group, details are in the video description below. I'll be back the next time with something a little bit different. Until then, look after yourselves. Here's to your good health. Cheers.
Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please click and subscribe to be notified of further content.